Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Bhalabha Giri Bharadhari Jashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimadhi Seva Ingraisesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Grantara Shiman Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to Shishiguru and Shiguranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonum, Chapter 88, Lord Shiva saved from Brikasura, texts 3 and 4. Sri Sukha Uvacha Shiva Shakti Yuta Shashvat Trilingo Guna Samrita Vaikarikastaijasascha Tamasas-chetyaham tridha. Sri Sukha Uvacha Shiva Shakti Yuta Saswat Trilingo Guna Samrita Vaikarikastaijasascha Tamasas-chetyaham tridha. Sri Sukha Uvacha Shiva Shakti Yuta Saswat Trilingo Guna Samrita Vaikarikastaijasascha Tamasascetyaham tridha. Please chant. Tamasascetyaham tridha. Sri Sukha Uvacha. Sri Sukha said, Shivaha, Lord Shiva, Shakti, with his energy, material nature, Yataha, united, Saswat, always, three, Lingaha, whose manifest features, Guna, by the modes, Sambritaha, prayed to, Vaikarikaha, false ego in the mode of goodness, Taijashaha, false ego in the mode of passion, Cha, and Tamasaha, false ego in the mode of ignorance, Cha, and Iti, thus, Aham, the principle of material ego, Tridha, threefold. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, Lord Shiva is always united with his personal energy, the material nature, manifested himself in three features in response to the how you say that? Entreaties of nature's three modes. He thus embodies the threefold principle of material ego in goodness, passion, and ignorance. Before going to the next verse, I'm going to read the purpose given of this verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, by Srila Jiva Goswami, and by Srila Sanatana Goswami. So it's actually very nice. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on this verse. Shiva is associated with material energy, Shakti Yutaha. He is surrounded by the modes because they plead with him to be accepted. By that covering, he appears to be made of the three modes, Trilingaha, but he is not bound by force by the modes like the jivas. The nature of the three modes is described. Shiva takes on three forms according to the three types of false ego in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Srila Jiva Goswami comments, Brahma says in the second canto, Srijami tan niyuktoham haro harati tatvasha vishwan purusha rupena paripati trishakti dhrik. Quote, I create under his order, and Shiva destroys under his order. Holding his three energies, he protects the universe as the Paramatma. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 6, text number 32. Sukadev explains the conclusion of Bhagavatam, the essence of Vedanta, Itihasas, and Vedas. Let us put aside for now the glories of Bhagavan Krishna just discussed. Here, the special qualities of Vishnu, an expansion of Krishna, who for pastimes accepts supervisions of Sattva-guna, though it is said that they are non-different, they are described as being connected with coverings of the gunas with lesser and more powers as reflections. After establishing this, he shows fault in the apparent good qualities and shows good qualities in the apparent fault. Finally, he indicates the great foolishness of some people who worship Shiva. This topic continues for the rest of the chapter. He shows that Shiva is closely connected with the qualities of upadis, and this is the cause of his specific powers. Two verses are connected with the qualities of upadis, and this is the cause of his... Sorry, I read that again. Okay, I'll read that again. I got a little confused here. He shows that Shiva is closely connected with the qualities of upadis, and this is the cause of his specific powers. Two verses are connected. He is eternally endowed with powers, Shashrak Chakti Yuktaha, but they manifest gradually. This means that he is endowed with upadis in the form of Prakriti when in a state of equilibrium of the gunas, Shakti. When the gunas become disturbed, he becomes covered with the upadis of manifested three gunas. Trilingo guna sambrita. Quote, we hear that he is covered by upadis. What is the nature of upadis? End of quote. Ahankara is of three types. This means he is the controllers of the three ahankaras. The chief is tamas, and the others are secondary. It's quite technical. It's a little over my head, I have to admit. Sanatana Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami comments, though Shiva is not different from the Lord, since he is a guna avatar, he accepts the gunas of Maya to fulfill the desires of his devotees. It's a little more simple. In terms of Lord Shiva accepting these forms according to the three modes of natures and the ahamkara or the false ego associated with these three modes of nature. He accepts the gunas of Maya to fulfill the desires of his devotees. They obtain material wealth as much as they desire. The Lord generally does not fulfill material desires of his devotees, seeing the fault of wealth, since he is most merciful. But he awards his abode beyond the gunas, in according to his glory, to his devotees who have given up all material desires. This is explained in 3 verses. Shiva is eternally endowed with his Shakti because he is the Lord's avatar. He has all powers because he is not covered by the gunas. Aguna sambritaha. He becomes 3 forms to fulfill the desires of his devotees. The cause of the 3 forms is ahamkara, or accepting Shakti to fulfill the desires of his devotees. He is covered by the 3 gunas. Or, because he is controlled by affection for his devotee, he takes 3 forms. Or, the cause of the 3 forms is sattva, rajas, and tamas, since he is the controller of the 3 types of ahamkaras. So, that's Srila Sanatana Goswami. Now, text number 4. Tato vikara abhavam sada samishu kanchana upadhavam vibhutinam sarvashan ashnute gatim. Translation. The 16 elements have evolved as transformation of that false ego. When a devotee of Lord Shiva worship his manifestation in any one of these elements, the devotee obtains all sorts of corresponding enjoyable opulences. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. False ego transforms into the mind 10 senses, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, hands, feet, voice, genital, and anus. And 5 physical elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Lord Shiva appears in an special linga form in each of these 16 substances, which are worshipped individually as deities in various sacred locations of the universe. A devotee of Shiva may worship one of his particular lingas to obtain the mystic opulences pertaining to it. Thus, Lord Shiva's Akasha Lingam bestows the opulence of ether, and his Jyotirlinga bestows the opulence of fire, and so on. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swami Iti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Shatarine. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So it's quite, in one sense, technical to understand the position of Lord Shiva, or in one sense to understand what is called Shiva Tattva. In the previous chapter, we have the opportunity to hear, and in this case, well, Maharaj Parikshit and all the great sages in the universe who were present at that time, they were able to hear from Srila Sukadev Goswami the prayers of the personified Vedas, which concluded very emphatically, was very conclusive in one sense, the supremacy of the personality of Godhead and the supremacy of the process of bhakti. That was established very unequivocally by the personified Vedas. Now Maharaj Parikshit, throughout the whole Bhagavatam, from the very, very beginning, many of his inquiries to Srila Sukadev Goswami were to benefit not only many of the sages who were present in the assembly there, who many of them belonged to the different schools of philosophy that not necessarily accepted Krishna as the supreme absolute truth. They have other conceptions, different conceptions. So Maharaj Parikshit, to benefit them, then he asked so many different questions regarding the position of Krishna in relationship to the creation, the maintenance, and the annihilation of the whole cosmic manifestation. Although it is very fascinating because right from the very beginning, the instructions of when Srila Sukadev Goswami answered the question of Maharaj Parikshit, what is the most important thing that someone should do in his life, especially when he's about to die? What is the most important activity or duty? And then he actually presented that question to all the different sages that represented all the different philosophies, and they couldn't agree. There was not agreement. But they all accepted the position of Sukadev Goswami, and they sat down, they agreed to hear from Srila Sukadev Goswami, and from the very beginning, Srila Sukadev Goswami established the position of Krishna. And the process, or what is the activity that one should do as a human being, especially when one is facing the ultimate test of death. He said that the most important activity that one have to carry out through one's life is the process of, in the words of Srila Sutta Goswami, parandharma, or Yato Bhakti Radokshaye. Same thing. He established the most important thing is to fully absorb oneself in the hearing and chanting of the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He just say clearly and blank that one should absorb oneself in hearing and chanting the glories. These three principles. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarana. That's it. Maharaj Pariksit was very, very happy to hear that. And Srila Sukadev Goswami established that fact right there, right in the very beginning. Second canto, first chapter of the Bhagavatam. And Maharaj Pariksit then started to ask about the creation. About after that's established, he started to ask about the creation. It goes into the third canto. It just lead to the third canto and so on. And one may think, if you want to absorb yourself in the pastimes of Krishna, one can just go straight right down to hear Krishna's Leela, Krishna's pastimes. In fact, it is explained that the sages in Naimisharanya, when he heard from Sutta Goswami about the response of Srila Sukadev Goswami, and as Srila Sukadev Goswami elaborated in that answer why and how that element of absorbing oneself in the pastimes of Krishna, in the hearing and chanting of the pastimes of Krishna, is necessary for all types of transcendentalists. For the yogi, it's necessary that as the yogi is able to control the mind and being able to reach through to the stage of dhyana, then the idea is to meditate on the form of the Lord. And in that way, once the mind is controlled, the yogi is situated in perfect control in the mind, then is complete absorption in the meditation of the form of the Lord. And then when one is perfected, that type of meditation is going into the relationship, the loving relationship, the devotional service. So after that's clear, after the sages of Naimisharanya heard that from Sutta Goswami, they really wanted to hear about Krishna. So if this is the real thing, so let us hear about Krishna. And then when they heard that Maharaj Pariksit asked about, please tell me about the creation, then they were a bit disappointed. And they were trying to ask Srila Sutta Goswami to, okay, no, but just go, it's almost like go to a 10th canto. Just let's pass over the following, cantos and just go to the real thing, hearing about Krishna. And at that time, the head of the sages of Naimisharanya, who was Shamika Rishi, then he chastised him. He said, no, everything is important. And the fact is that there was a very purpose reason why all these different aspects of establishing Krishna's position in these different 10 subject matters that are given in the Bhagavatam are so important because they clarify all these different, they clarify the doubts that comes from so many levels of knowledge that are presented in the Vedas, and establishing the supremacy of Krishna. So it is important to go through that to be able to understand, to be able to fully understand. And it was very relevant because there were so many. I mean, if we're talking about common people, this was the greatest sages and transcendentalists in the whole universe, and many of them, they had a partial understanding of the absolute truth. And they were teaching, they were representing, they were connecting, they were understanding from different parts of the Vedas. So, for the benefit of the world, then Maharaj Parikshit and questions Srila Sukadev Goswami, and Srila Sukadev Goswami narrated the Bhagavatam in such a way. So it's important for establishing that. And here we see that here's the Vedas, same thing, establishing the supremacy of Krishna. But then we know that in the Vedas there is different parts of the Vedas that presents Lord Shiva as supreme. And there's different situations in which appears very confusing. I give you an example. In one sense, to be able to understand this Shiva Tattva is an important aspect, because Lord Shiva, he occupies a very, very prominent position in the whole cosmic manifestation. Very unique. Lord Shiva, there's only one personality, Lord Shiva, like that. So we have Lord Vishnu, which is unique too, or Krishna, the one supreme Lord, and there is one Lord Shiva, and there is unlimited jivas. So Lord Shiva also have this unique position. So it's important to understand. And therefore, Maharaj Parikshit still is constantly making sure that there is no question. The Bhagavatam then that's why it's established as the essence, as the ripened fruit of the Vedic knowledge. Because it's a perfection of philosophy. Everything is clear. Everything is established and is faultless. So, the understanding of Shiva Tattva, and then here Maharaj Parikshit is asking about, making sure that these doubts in terms of this idea of the supremacy of Lord Shiva, or maybe he's co-supreme, or maybe sometimes he is understood by some transcendentalists as supreme. And they take that from the Vedas itself. There's some things that found here. Here's from the Shweswatara Upanishad, and this is one of the main Upanishads that we study. And this Shweswatara Upanishad says this: Rudra is one alone, and he rules over all beings. He pervades all the worlds and is the Lord of all. So it seems that he's promoting this monistic view of Rudra as a supreme. Could be very confusing. And the Rig Veda, he mentions Rudra as the healers of disease and the Lord of the universe, showing his benevolent and fearsome forms. So it requires for establishing the supremacy of Lord Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan. Even this point that we're establishing here in the Bhagavatam, we're hearing that is being established not just Lord Vishnu, but actually Krishna's position as Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. The other day, one devotee was asking me about the question of the dasa avatar, that Krishna appears as one of the dasa avatars, and then, so is he an avatar? Without the Bhagavatam and without our Vaishnavacharyas, it would be very difficult. So most people, why do I say most people? Well, many people in India, they believe that Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu. But in the Bhagavatam, it is explained that Krishna's position is avatari. He is the source of avatars. He is Swayam Bhagavan, the original personality of Godhead. And Ete Chamsa Kalapunsa, all of these different avatars, they're expansions of the expansion of the expansions. Like that. So these are very important aspects. So when we talk about Shiva Tattva, it's very fascinating and understanding. And it's also not very easy. So we really require guidance. Especially because there's these forms that the Lord manifests, that Lord Shiva manifests. The first one is this Sada Shiva. Sada Shiva is a manifestation of Lord Vishnu. It is explained that is the how you say that, the vision or the sight of Lord Vishnu manifests this form of Sada Shiva. Sometimes we hear that Sri Advaita Acharya is a manifestation of Mahavishnu, but it's also a manifestation of Sada Shiva. So Sada Shiva is the original, is Lord Vishnu taking this task of Lord Vishnu uniting in one sense through his vision, then he unites with a material energy. So the glance of Lord Vishnu is Sada Shiva, as I understand it. And through this manifestation of Lord Vishnu, then there's this union between Lord Shiva and material nature, Parvati or Durga. And then through this union, then all the living entities becomes injected into the womb of material nature. So therefore, Lord Shiva is worshipped as Lingam, which is the male genital, basically, and Durga is also in the form of a vulva. So this type of connection that is there is what allows the creation of living entities the um, into the womb of material nature. So Lord Shiva can be considered as a father. Lord Shiva also from Shada Shiva can be considered. Yesterday and in this verse is also explained as material nature as the energy of Lord Shiva. So it's all these aspects in terms of the tattva, of Lord Shiva. Now Lord Shiva also manifests all the forms in the material world. So he have the very specific task of being a guna avatar. So a guna avatar, an avatar of Lord Vishnu. So he's one of the avatars, but again, he's very unique. And by his powers, he is the avatar that is in charge of the destruction of the whole universe. And so he takes charge of the Tamagun. He also, to perform that activity, he manifests this form of Rudra. And the way he appears into this world as Rudra comes from, he manifested from Lord Brahma's, how you call this, from here. I can hear. So when Lord Brahma got really angry at the four Kumaras because they declined to follow his instructions, so he got angry. And then at that moment, Rudra manifests. So Lord Shiva's Rudra is the fearsome form that destroys the whole cosmic manifestation. And then there's further divisions of 11 Rudras and things like that. I'm not fully covered on that. So, but Shiva Tattva is very vast. You have to really fully study. And then we have the other form of Lord Shiva that is Mahadev, the supreme Devata, or the top Devata, Mahadev. And Mahadev is very benevolent, is very kind, very peaceful, very sweet. And the character, I find it very beautiful. This is going back? No, it's okay. Krishna. The sweet, the nature, the wonderful, kind nature, for in one sense, tolerant, but also you can see the powerful nature of Lord Shiva during the whole pastime that have to do with Daksha's offense. the as Daksha is blaspheming Lord Shiva like anything, Lord Shiva was completely peaceful. Lord Shiva's followers were really angry. Started with Nandi, and then they all, created this um, huge scene of cursing and violence in that arena where Daksha was, blaspheming Lord Shiva. And but Lord Shiva was very peaceful, and he just walked away. And then in his instructions to Sati, um, he explains he was. You can see he's tolerant, he's equipoise, perfect, perfect devotee, and trying to advise Sati to protect her, but at the end, you can see also how he allows Sati. He didn't interfere in one sense of, lock her in her room or something like that. She wanted to go, so okay, I told you. But then when he found out that Sati have committed, had um, immolated. That's how you say, self-immolated, like that herself. Then he was really angry, and that's when he produced this huge demon that his name was Virabhadra. No, that was Virabhadra. Yeah, Virabhadra. A manifestation of Virabhadra. Virabhadra is a manifestation of Lord Shiva that is like destruction. So Virabhadra, completely destroy and cut the head of Daksha. The scene, the narration of that passage is quite something. Yeah. So that's Lord Shiva. But, you can find these aspects of, but even with that anger, Lord Shiva is because Daksha needed that to be corrected, and not only that, is to protect the whole universe. Because when you have a leader that is, someone in a position of responsibility cannot afford to be making choices that are influenced by pride, desires, aversions, biases, all these different weaknesses of character. You can a leader cannot afford to have those type of flaws. And if you have those type of flaws, you have to be so guard and aware of that. That's why proper leaders surround themselves by good advisors, especially brahmanas, to be able to follow like that. So yeah, so it was necessary. So even his anger is for the benefit of all the world. So he's Shiva. Shiva means auspicious. So there is also the explanation just that we spoke about the understanding of Shiva Tattva in relationship to Lord Vishnu, how he is considered the greatest Vaishnava. He's a devotee. He's a devotee, and as a devotee, he established and he worshipped Krishna. There's a very beautiful passage that is quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that comes from the Padma Purana, in which Lord Shiva explains to Parvati that he is a Ram Bhakta. He is a devotee of Lord Ramachandra because he's always chanting the names of Lord Ramachandra. And that prayer is a very famous one that is chanted by many Ram Bhaktas in India up to this day, followers of in India, in South India especially, most of Vaishnavas are Ram Bhaktas. And when Lord Chaitanya traveled to South India, he encountered many different, especially, the most prominent ones was the Sri Sampradaya Vaishnavas, the Madhava Acharya Brahma Sampradaya, which were called the Tattvavadis, and the Shivaists, and also Buddhists. He encountered all those type of people. Among the Vaishnavas, even the followers of Madhavacharyas explain that they were mostly Ram Bhaktas. So, in one such occasion, as Lord Chaitanya, in the beginning of his travels, he encountered this Vaishnava, the Sri Vaishnava, who was a Ram Bhakta, and after being in association with Lord Chaitanya, he immediately started to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Lord Chaitanya asked him to explain, what happened. And then this Ram Bhakta explains that actually, through the association of Lord Chaitanya, he was able to understand, and even although it is there in the Vedas, in times, there's something like that at one point, even you have something present in the Vedas that you study, but you're not ready to process. And at one point you say, oh, wow, this is what this means. So for this Ram Bhakta, he was able to understand how the names of Lord Krishna, that there's no difference between the names of Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. They're transcendental, they're holy names. But the name of Krishna is supreme. So he explains, this conversation between Parvati and Krishna and Lord Shiva, in which Lord Shiva first established that he is constantly chanting the names of Lord Ram, but also that the understanding of Lord Krishna's supremacy, like that. So the mantra that Lord Shiva chants is Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Vistulyam Rama Nama Varaname. Lord Shiva addressed his wife Durga, oh Varanana. Varanana means, oh lovely faced woman. I chant the holy names of Rama, 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 and thus enjoy this beautiful sound. The holy name of Ramachandra is equal to 1,000 holy names of Lord Vishnu. It's famous. So we know that Vaishnavas, they chant the Sahasranam of Lord Vishnu, the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. But one name of Ram equals 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. So this is the Uttarakanda of the Padma Purana. Now, in the whole narration, this Brahmana is explaining. He says this, I read this and then we stop. From my childhood, I've been collecting the glories of the holy names from revealed scriptures. The supreme absolute truth is called Rama because the transcendentalists take pleasure in the unlimited true pleasure of a spiritual existence. The word Krish is the attractive feature of the Lord's existence, and Na means a spiritual pleasure. When the verb Krish is added to the affix Na, it becomes Krishna, which indicates the absolute truth. As far as of the holy names of Rama and Krishna are concerned, they are on an equal level, but for further advancement, we receive some specific information from the revealed scripture. So this is the Brahmana explaining to Lord Chaitanya how that he changed his practices of always chanting the names of Rama and now chanting Hare Krishna. So he says, Lord Shiva, the verse that I just read, addressed his wife Durga, "Oh Varanana, I chant the holy name of Rama, 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 and thus enjoy this beautiful sound. This holy name of Ramachandra is equal to 1,000 holy names of Lord Vishnu. The pious resolve derived from chanting the 1,000 holy names of Vishnu 3 times can be obtained by only one utterance of the holy name of Krishna." So this is Lord Shiva speaking now. He's narrating from this Padma Purana. So this particular verse that says that, so one name of Lord Ram means 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. One name of Krishna is 3 names of Ram, or 3 times 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. So like that. So this verse is from the Brahmanda Purana and is found in the Lagu Bhagavatamrita by Rupa Goswami. Simply by chanting the name of Krishna once, one can obtain the same result achieved by chanting the holy name of Ram 3 times. According to this statement of the Shastra, the glories of the holy name of Krishna are unlimited. Still, I could not chant his holy name. Please hear the reason for this. My worshipable Lord has been Lord Ramachandra, and by chanting his holy names, I receive happiness. Because I receive such happiness, I chant the holy names of Ram day and night. By your appearance, Lord Krishna's holy names also appear, and at that time the glories of Krishna's names awoke in my heart. Sirs, you are Lord Krishna himself, and this is my conclusion. Saying this, the Brahmana fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, just to conclude, I mean, there's so much things that we can talk about Lord Shiva, and especially to me was very intriguing that when he manifests a form from each one of the 16 manifestations that come from the 3 gunas, and then followers of Lord Shiva can worship one of these different manifestations of Lord Shiva and obtain a specific benediction or a specific boon. So I thought that was pretty fascinating, but I have to do more research on that. So, a summary, in one sense, we can say that Lord Shiva's position is subordinate to Lord Krishna and to Lord Vishnu. His power is dependent on the power of Lord Vishnu. So he is considered a guna avatar, overseeing tamas, but important, he is not conditioned by it. He is not conditioned by the modes of nature. He is not different from Lord Vishnu in essence, but functions different. That is the understanding of the difference between milk and yogurt. He is eternally united with his Shakti and accepts upadis for cosmic functions. He is the topmost Vaishnavas and Mahajan, worthy of respect, not equal worship. Proper understanding of Shiva Tattva helps avoid both impersonalism and polytheistic conclusions. So this is why this topic is being pursued by Maharaj Pariksit. He's thinking on the benefit like that. Any comments or questions? Good? Krishna Archana?
Thank you for the class, Prabhu. I got a simple question. Why does Lord Shiva choose to be in poverty?
Say that again, Prabhu.
Why does Lord Shiva choose to be in poverty? Not have a nice home. Why do he choose to be poor?
Oh, why does he choose to be poor?
Yes.
Well, in general, devotees, when you represent that highest, when you are in the highest position of devotion, there is a natural detachment. To be too absorbed in some position of or being surrounded by some material comforts or some type of material situation, then that in general can be distracting and detrimental. Although for pure devotees, they're equipoise in any of that. And they're still, even within the position. I mean, yesterday, Acharya Prabhu was pointed out that too, that you have devotees that have tremendous opulence, but in their consciousness, they're perfectly detached. Perfectly detached. So, but if you give the choice, the devotee will be, in a situation that is absolutely no distraction. That whole principle of the Vyabhyasayatmika Buddhi, the single pointed. the single-pointed intelligence that is required for being fully absorbed in Krishna, then it requires that you eliminate the what is it, the what's the verse that says that in order to have Vyabhyasayamika Boga Aishwarya Prasaktanam, Boga Aishwarya Prasaktanam, that one have to eliminate this desire to enjoy and control, which is in general what material facilities, tends to entice ones to. So therefore, devotees are not, too eager. They prefer. An example was there of not Priyabrata. Yeah, I think Priyabrata, who was the son of Lord of Swayambhuva Manu, who was the brother of fourth canto, Priyabrata, no? Priyabrata, who was renounced, one of the sons of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu have these two sons and one daughter, no? My memory is failing. One's Priyabrata, the other one's the father of Dhruva Maharaj was Uttara. Huh? Uttara, yes. So, and Satya, the daughter was Devo, not Devohut, the other one, yes, the Devohut, yes. So, then the son, Uttanapada, when he died, then they needed Priyavrata, who was renounced, poverty. He was not living in the forest somewhere in the universe. He have to have Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Narada Muni, everybody come to tell him, we need you. We need you to go and become a king because someone have to rule the universe. And he say, I don't really want to do that. I prefer to stay because I'm so happy doing my devotional services, meditation, everything was, just like that. It's much better. If I go there, I'm afraid that I'm going to be enticed. They have to promise him. No, you will be protected, Lord Vishnu. So, like that, it's better for the devotees. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Grantara Shriman Bhagavatam Ki Jai.